She still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Sean Whaley is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
What is up? What is good, everyone? Welcome into a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 165, presented by Viva Tequila Seltzer. A little more on them in just a little. But today is February 21st, 2025. And unfortunately, we took a hard L last night, kid. Man, I was ready to come on here with the red, white, and blue and wave my flag, but Tony Kornheiser got the last laugh last night.
Yeah, waving that Canadian flag, man. Yeah, kudos to our neighbors up north. I called it, though. I said I'm very scared, especially how back and forth it was going into the third period. The Connor McDavid was going to take over, and that's exactly
McJesus. How do you leave that fucking guy open, huh?
It was insane. Yeah, man. But, you know, I had my eyes elsewhere as well, obviously, in the combat sports world. You know, there was 171 that took place before the Four Nations final. KSW 103 is currently on right now, so try to find that if you want to watch some fights early on a Friday. Fury FC and LFA are also on tonight. And last but not least, check out Glory 98 tomorrow because it is a massive heavyweight show. Dylan, do you know of Rico Verhoeven at all?
I don't.
Dude, nobody can touch that guy. He is an undefeated guy in the past 10 years. He hasn't lost since 2015. And I mean, he's just a freak of nature, man. He really owns kickboxing, if you were to think at that heavyweight division, man. He's been there for 10 years. Such a volatile weight class. I mean, it's something special. So all these heavyweights are trying to at least get a shot to beat him, but it doesn't seem to happen anytime soon.
There was this guy, forgot, Jonathan Haggerty.
Yeah, he fought on 171.
He lost. He got knocked out.
Well, that was his previous fight. He just redeemed himself. He just defended his belt in kickboxing. But yeah, no, I mean, dude, some of the competition they have over there in one is ferocious.
They're legit, right? Do you think he would be, because he's Muay Thai and kickboxing, do you think, because I was watching some of his videos, kind of reminds me of like an Izzy. Do you think he would be able to compete at a high level like the UFC?
No, and that's why I was mentioning Rico Verhoeven, because there are some guys that the gap is too big mixing it together with the grappling aspect of things. But when it comes to pure striking, just the essence of what they have to offer, they're somewhat untouchable. The Muay Thai guys, some of the kickboxing guys, I mean, they don't have the grappling to compete in mixed martial arts, but surely nobody on the planet who's not in that discipline wants to go face-to-face with them because they're going to outclass them, outskill them, and it might even be better athletes at times.
Well, thank you for that, Joe. We have a loaded show, a lot to talk about, a lot of breaking news to go through. We'll recap the week that was UFC Vegas 102. We're over there in the Pacific Northwest, Space Needle, Ike Harley territory, Seattle. We got Sang Yadong, Henry Cejudo. We'll see how that card is. The Last Crescendo. What's with these names? I know old school enthusiasts, they love the names. It gives them a more like significance to the card. Are you for all these last names on these cards?
I mean, it does make sense with the boxing world a little bit, but as you have some cool outs, I mean, it kind of deflates the quote unquote fight card of the century. So yeah, I guess
the decade now or the month or the year?
Maybe just the year. Yeah. I mean, it's a little verbose, but you could see why the UFC went away from that, because they used to also have, you know, like UFC Bad Blood, you know what I'm saying? Nations collide. So I think maybe it gets a little gimmicky or corny. So yeah, I think let's just keep with the numbers. At least we know where we're at. Let's just keep the
numbers. Got a lot to talk about. UFC 314, UFC London, UFC 315. A lot to talk about there. And then we'll end it over there in Czech Republic, Octagon 67 tomorrow afternoon. But Joe, we will start. They tried to make a name off of him. They tried to take his back, 40-year-old Jared Cannonier. In the first round, it almost looked like it. But the Killer Gorilla said, no, you will not make a name on my name. No, sir, I will knock you the fuck out. One guy of two fighters in UFC history to get a knockout in 3 different divisions. Do you know who the other man is?
Conor McGregor.
Absolutely. I tried to stump you there, kid, but you knew it. But yes, Jared Cannonier, he gets a knockout of RoboCop in the 4th round. cashes at a plus $2 underdog.
Yeah.
What a performance. He's ageless.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's the only one undefeated against Father Time.
Exactly.
But you try to disrespect this man, you try to come for his position. And I mean, he proves us wrong time and time again. Fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, shame on me. I should not be fading this guy in this position. It makes that Imavov stoppage look rather early for Jared Cannonier. And how do I not see it? Because RoboCop has a history of going out in the later rounds. He gasses himself. He's vicious. It's got to weather that storm with the first or second round. And I always think that's going to be a threat, but that's limited for a lot of fighters, especially when you get to the upper echelon like Jared Cannonier. You know what you're going to expect when you fight him, a 5-round matchup. You better be in shape to get to those 5 rounds because he surely will be, even at his age. So Jared Cannonier seems to be timeless. It was a impressive performance on his part. Yeah, I mean, he did a lot for himself. I don't know what's necessarily next. I did mention that Imavov, but a big title eliminator I think is going to take place this weekend as well. So there's a lot to look forward to that middleweight division. Jared Cannonier, he's a legend. Absolutely. I have nothing but, flowers to give that man. He proved us all wrong being a $2 dog.
Yeah, I mean those body shots towards the beginning of the 4th round really did it for RoboCop. And RoboCop came out and said, I was dealing with a lot, dealing with injuries, and I really hate it because they're trying to take away from the work that Jared Cannonier did, and he looked in tremendous shape. I mean,
the fighter. It sucks that we have that natural instinct to have like an excuse in a sense, but it's not nice to say that, hey, that was my best version out there and I still lost, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, you got to look at it and say, yes, maybe there's some bit injuries, ailments, this and that, but you can't take away from the other person's performance. No. It goes to what we just talked about in the opening sequence, going out there no matter what and entertaining the fans. That's what the NHL did. That's what some other, organizations are failed to do. But as a fighter, you got to go out there and do it for yourself, your team, your fans, against all odds. You really do.
Now, what's next? There are some interesting fights. He did say this week, he was on the Ariel Helwani show. He did say he wants to fight up. He wants to fight at least once or twice more this year. He wants to get that Izzy fight back. I know people aren't claiming towards that, both coming off losses. Maybe a Sean Strickland fight as well, both coming off losses. Definitely not going to get Khamzat or Nasruddin Imavov. Maybe a Robert Whitaker again. What about a guy who doesn't have a fight in Caio Borralho? He's an up-and-comer as well, and that's just one spot above him.
Well, that was the previous fight.
He did not.
Before RoboCop. Yeah, they just fought there. That's why I think maybe we'll see what happens with the co-main event of UFC Seattle, because I think that could kind of make waves into the division. Because I mean, dude, whoever gets a win in that is going to actually have a case. May they have to fight Imavov, who I keep mentioning in all this. I think he's playing a factor in that title picture, but it does seem that Khamzat Chimaev is going to get the shot. So, well, if he wins, that opens it up again. So it's a lot, I think, to be done in the middleweight division, so we can see where these guys go.
If you're Imavov, do you just wait?
Well, I mean, he might be able to say that, but if they give Khamzat the shot, he may have to face the winner of, like I said, the co-main event slot here this tomorrow night. I'll say Brendan Allen or Anthony Hernandez. Yeah. I think whoever wins that, I think he's going to actually have to fight for a number one contender.
Well, we will see, but shout out him. He does get the fight of the night bonus as well. So the ageless Jared Cannonier, Killer Gorilla, credit to you, man. Big win, and he does cash as a plus 200 underdog. In the co-main event, Yusuf Zalal, man, he's the real deal. I know. I thought it was a strategic fight. He really didn't finish. He wanted to go out there and submit Calvin Kattar, but he said it after the fight. He accused Calvin Kattar of greasing. He said, look, and I went back because he was just like, look at the third period. That shot was extremely deep, and he just slipped right off. I don't know if I would accuse him of greasing, but nonetheless,
third round,
it's slippery at that point. Now, if you said it first 5 minutes in, maybe you have a case. I don't know. Nonetheless, he does take his ranking. He is number 10th now in the middleweight or the featherweight. No, he's actually 12th. He didn't take the number 10 spot. He is 12th. Calvin Kattar drops to 14th. So Yusuf Zalal does enter the ranking. What do you see next for Yusuf Zalal?
Man, the world is his oyster. This is a new era of MMA coming in. He was styling on Calvin Kattar. He really was, man. In that third, regardless of the controversy that could be expected there, he was untouchable. There was some exchange in the pocket where he was presented with some danger, but it seemed that he was in full control, man. We have a big matchup, right? Don't we have like Josh Emmett taking on Ron Murphy, right? That's kind of right in his vicinity there. Brian Ortega, you know what I mean? I'm looking up a little bit of division, seeing where they could match him up.
What about an Aljo?
I could see that as well. Yeah, there's always that possibility. Or, he could fight even Giga Chikadze, right? I mean, he's been at number 11 without too many fights as of late. So it's all about moving up at this point for Yusuf Zalal. I mean, we called it. We saw him as a dark horse before he was even ranked, and here he is at number 12.
Yeah, he said he doesn't matter if he takes the Bilal Muhammad route and just keeps fighting, or he takes the Diego Lopez route and just a few more fights, and he'll be at a title shot.
Notice.
We'll see. Shout out to Moroccan Yusuf Zalal. Big win for him in the chief support. Your boy Edmund Shabazi. And thank God Dylan Bucka got released. I mean, that was horrific.
It was. We said it. I mean, whoever was losing that fight was getting released.
It was performance of the night. I mean, you don't really have to say much, but shout out the Long Island kid, Nazim Sadikov. Yeah. Doctor stoppage, it was bad. Ishmael Bonfim. I don't want to say exposed, but it was not a good outing.
He burnt a lot of parlays, that's for sure. I think there was a lot of Bonfim parlays going last weekend, and I saw it. I said Sadikov has that finishing ability, and so play it down the middle to get similar odds of that fight just ending the way it did. Man, lucky I hit on that.
Were you surprised that Bonfim didn't want to grapple and wrestle a little bit?
Well, you do see
try to stage.
There's a little bit of difference with the styles with the Bonfim brothers. Gabriel, though he, outstruck Chaos Williams, he is more a submission-based fighter. And Ishmael Bonfim does hunt for the knockouts. So, it might not be in his back pocket to go and, exchange with the grappling, so to speak, when he might need it most. Gabriel Bonfim at least has that. So, yeah, a little bit of difference between the two brothers.
Another underdog cashes to start the main card. Andre Petrovsky plus 230. How you doing, kid? Against Rodolfo Vieira, unanimous.
Insane.
Strange that one, huh?
Not unanimous. I thought it was a split. It could have been definitely in his favor, but
objectively, did you think Petrovsky did enough?
He could have done enough, but that third round I do think was a controversial one. It should have went to Rodolfo.
Yeah. Shout out my boy Jose Delgado, though. That man, welcome to the UFC. Yeah. Knocked out Connor Matthews. We get there at the plus 200 with the VKO TKO. This man is for real.
Yeah, I like that guy a lot, man. To put away Connor Matthews, he's a tough dude. I just think a little limited. To do that was definitely needed for Jose Delgado. I think you got to finish guys like that. If they square him up against someone where he can definitely close the show, that's going to be good for him. I got to jump ahead to the ageless wonder that Angela Hill is as well, bro. Could have made some money betting her and Jared Cannonier.
Oh, yeah. Angela, no-kill Hill, at her age, doing it still. Love Jared Cannonier, but to go out there and say Angela Hill's a Hall of Famer, you lose a little credibility in my mind. When you're under 500 in the UFC, what are we talking about?
I think she's now above 500.
I don't think so. I think she's 13-14 in the UFC. But
so even her record now 5 wins above 500, she still has one more to go to get to the 500 mark in the UFC.
What are we talking about here?
That's a warrior, bro. Some people
no, she's a warrior. I'm not doubting that, but
keep going like that. The fact that she's here at her age and winning, I mean, she deserves.
Yeah, she's 13-14 in the UFC. What are we talking about? She's never fought for
14
the belt.
14. Here, 14 wins coming up next.
Even if she had the 14-14, you're gonna put a 500 record person.
No, I know. I'm not talking about the UFC, but I do think you have to respect Angela Hill.
Oh, I respect her. I think she's a hell of a fighter and she's a warrior. And for her to do this at her age speaks volumes. But let's just.
Are they teammates? I wouldn't mind if they were teammates, propping her up a little bit.
I don't know if they're teammates. Maybe they're. Maybe they're teammates. Who the hell knows anymore? But overall, 3-3 on the night for me. Gabriel Bonfim does cash. Dontel Mays, you fucking suck. He got submitted.
That's
That
what I was
was
going to say, man,
atrocious.
about John Jones training partners. It's like, I don't know if John Jones is going to be training anyone who's other than a punching bag. You feel me? He is John Jones.
It was pitiful, but 3-3 on the night. Do cash on with some plus money prices, but any big takeaways, or what was your record for UFC Vegas 102?
Oh, I stayed up above, afloat on the UFC things. We did talk a little bit of boxing last week. So for overall, I went 5-9, 1-4 straight picks, 2-1 on props, 1-0 in my totals, 1-1 in my leans. Missed a parlay. I'm cold on the parlay, so I'm hoping to have a get back this weekend.
Yeah, Derek Chers, there was no. We did lose. We lost in the boxing. I mean, Jack Catterall.
Yeah.
To be honest, I forgot what time it was even going on, and you kind of spoiled it for me. So I went back and I watched it, and I watched it without sound. Yeah, Arnold Barbosa lost it. I thought it was close, but I thought Jack Catterall would have gotten the nod because of where they were, but Arnold Barbosa Jr. He did enough to. I thought
they were playing it
win.
Close to the chest. That's for sure.
Yeah. What did you think in the fight? You're the one watching it.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Like it wasn't too controversial. You can't always put the R word on it. Robbery. I think sometimes close decisions happen and they just go the other way. So he would have been another person we could have made some double money on because he was a $2 dog. So we got to be careful when looking at these odds. I think we are a little overrating Jack Catterall. So. Unfortunate to say the least, but shout out Keyshawn Davis for getting that knockout finish in strictly business. So
is that the best division in boxing? Keyshawn Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko, and Tank Davis. How would you rank those four?
Then don't they have Teofimo there too? They got a bunch of other guys, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. Those four.
Right? So, yeah, I mean, it could arguably be the best division, going. I think a lot of the other divisions are trying to make a case for themselves, though. Full display this weekend, and then more to come. We're hearing.
How would you rank those? How would you rank those four? 1 through 4.
Man, I'll be honest. Maybe I put Tank up there, like 1, right? It's Tank. Who'd you say? Shakur,
Lomachenko, and Keyshawn Davis.
Honestly, I'd probably put Lomachenko. I put Shakur ahead of Davis just now. Just a little more experience. That's all.
My 4, Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davis, Keyshawn Davis, and Lomachenko. Lomachenko, what is he doing? He's not even fighting anymore. He wants to retire.
Yeah,
Tank
but his
Davis,
losses are arguable that he didn't lose.
But he did. And Tank, he said he doesn't want to do media. Tank Davis says I'm so uninterested. He wants to leave the sport. Keyshawn's a killer. I don't know. They're good friends. Keyshawn Davis and Shakur. I don't know if they'll ever fight. What's ruining Shakur in my eyes? He needs a big fight. He can't have all these pity patter fucking guys who he's fighting. But I'm biased. The brick fucking city, baby, Newark.
Yeah, come on.
But all right, kid. Before we get to Seattle and the last crescendo, quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer. The most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It is no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We favor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around a golf with the boys, or a new flavor, coconut, watching the last crescendo. It doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with our artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at XK Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, let's go to the Pacific Northwest. Good people over there. Prelim start at 6 p.m. here on the East Coast. Main card, 9 p.m. headline in a bantamweight bout between Sang Yadong and the Triple C, Henry Cejudo. Kid, what do you got?
All right, yeah, we'll kick it off with the first fight of the evening. You know, I got to get involved early. I think I'm just chasing in 2025, but let's get
I think
started.
so.
In the light heavyweight division, Modestas Bukauskas is minus 260 as a favorite. Really rather tough spot for him in there. I don't like him being that heavy of a favorite. He's taking on Rafael Sequeira at plus 250. I think, what is it, like a wild thing, like a homage to the major league. You know what I mean? I don't
Wild
know.
thing.
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to expect from Sequeira, but nothing but just wildness in there. I don't think technique's really his forte. That's going to be thrown out the window. So I expect Bukowski is going to be on top of his timing and his counters as best as he can in here. So, I mean, it's either Sequeira is going to go in full force and catch Bukakis, or Bukakis is a little more calculated and catches it with a counter. So I do think with the bigger size guys, sloppiness, defensive is not sound for either opponent. Going under 1.5 rounds, I think someone's going out. A plus 115, I'll take the under 1.5 to start us up. Let's get a finisher.
Let's go.
So the next fight is a middleweight matchup. Nursultan Roziboev is minus 255. He's taking on Eric Meconico at plus 250. Not much is known about Meconico. Besides, he is Jared Cannonier's coach. I think he was in the corner of UFC Vegas last week. So, yeah, maybe has a little bit of experience and maybe, very skillful. Might have some good defense, but I haven't seen it. And I just think the athleticism and being coming off the couch, it's not going to do him any favors. If anything is going to work against him. And we know Roziboev to be a fast starter. And I might mean I'm trying to get as much value out of this fight as I can. Maybe taking a chance here, but I just see Roziboev storming out of the gate, especially not being able to see his brother fight last week. Remember, his fight got called off. I think you're going to try to make the family proud. So give me Roziboev to win in the first 60 seconds of the fight at plus 1460. I'm going way for it, reaching. I think he gets him out of there in 60 seconds. I think it just bull rushes, does a Hamzat Chimaev, kind of takes him down, chokes him out, finishes him on the ground somehow within 60 seconds. So plus 1460. Hey, minus 255. I squeezed that all the way up. Now, interesting fight here. It's in the welterweight division. The UFC just signs this guy, and he immediately makes his debut. Austin Vanderford. He's taking on Nikolai Veretnikov, who is pick on both of these guys here. Don't know which way Vegas is leaning. The public is 50-50. I mean, we're completely split down the middle, but I think Veretnikov does have better stand-up. It's probably going to go his way if he can keep it that way, but I just don't think he can handle the wrestling for Vanderford. So I haven't seen many finishes on the ground and pound, submission threats, not really there. So it's Vanderford being able to hold him down and stay in dominant positions for these 3 rounds. I do think he'll have better cardio. So I'll just take him with the easy bet of via decision here at plus 210. I think that he's going to have the wrestling advantage. Hopefully the cardio can stay up there, stay away from the danger of Veretnikov on the feet. And I think it'll be an easy win in the UFC ranks. So yeah, quick signing, quick win. Austin Vanderford, Paige Van Zandt's husband. If you did not know, now you know. Bantamweight division is up next. Ricky Simone. Hey, at plus 220. Do we see some value here against Javid Basharat at minus 235? Well, I do think he'll be competent in there. He has a lot of experience, and he's always been tough, but, man, he's been skidding as of late. I don't think he's the right side. Don't think he's worth a sprinkle. Going to take Javid Basharat here. Though he does have finishing capability, like I said, Simone's rather tough, and it is a step up in competition for Basharat. It's a little level change, so that's going to be hard to come by. A finish as you start getting to higher level competitions, not as often. So let's get the minus 235 down for Basharat via decision at minus 115. So it's slightly favored. He'll get the job done that way. And now I have no official play in the next fight here. It's a middleweight division matchup between Nick Klein, who's plus 800. Man, if you're willing to take a bet on that guy, go for it. Kudos to you. Mansur Abdul-Malik's like a minus 1,000 in this spot. I do think people are expecting him to get the knockout, but who knows if he gasses? Then they could see some value in Nick Klein because we've seen that in his Dana Contender Series. Stepped in on last notice, no camp, and he was able to grind out his opponent. Maybe he could do it the same to Mansur Abdul-Malik. So you know how it is with women fights being this much of a disparity and, unknowns with this big of a line. I don't trust favorites. I would honestly tell you, I would think putting a bet on Nick Klein might be all right in this spot, but I ain't doing it.
I wouldn't trust none of them.
Not at all. So let's go into the featherweight division next. Andre Touchy-Feely is taking on Mel Costa. It is a pick 'em. D-Rock, I want to get your thoughts on this. Let's get in. What do you have?
Yeah, Andre Touchy-Feely kid. I'm very surprised at the line, him being the underdog with him with the more experience. I'm gonna take him here at even money. I see minus 102s out there. Shop around. I got a plus 100. Longer reach, 3-inch reach advantage over Costa. Think he's gonna stay on the outside. He's gonna outstrike him. Just think he has more ways to win in this fight. So Andre Touchy-Feely, I'm surprised he's not like a minus 130. I like Andre Feely here.
Yeah, brother. And I would be with you because the analysis of him as a fighter is fantastic. And that's exactly what you should expect from Andre Touchy-Feely. But I'm going to enact his own principle in this spot. It is the touchy principle because every time Andre Feely has a fight, his inconsistency reigns supreme. He just is coming off of a win. He's going to lose this fight. I'm taking Mel Costa at the pick'em. If you look at his history, Touchy-Feely has not put together 2 wins in the past 10 years. He loses every fight he wins after he wins. So he'll win one and he'll lose one. He'll lose one and win one. I mean, back and forth we go. And it has been the same for the past 10 years. So basically, simp off his principle of winning his last fight, he's going to lose this one. So I'm going to go opposite and take Mel Costa. I think the grappling advantage may be for Mel Costa as well. But to the feet, like you said, you broke that down exact. So let's go to the light heavyweight division here. Idan Kudalaba is plus 160, taking on Ivo Aslan at minus 160. Somebody's going to sleep here, right? That's what everyone's expecting. Bro, I got a really trick for you. These guys are going to gas. I swear, 30 seconds into this fight, both of these dudes are going to be gassed. This fight is going the distance with the most sloppiest, ugly fight you've seen in some time. Plus 290 for this fight to go to distance. Let's make some money on it. I want to see some hilarity in that one. So the light heavyweight division returns in the next fight where Alonzo Menafield is minus 225 taking on Julius Walker at plus 210. And not a lot is known about Julius Walker here, and it seems that 2025 is a year to fade these undefeated guys, but I'm not confident in taking an unknown guy as much as I will be in, say, John Matsumoto later, but I do think that he has some finishing capability. And Alonzo Menafield, it's atomic, drop, nuclear, first-round knockout or bust. And so I'm taking the under 1.5 rounds at plus 100. Someone's going to sleep early. It's going to be one side or the other. And now we go to a fantastic matchup here if this fight stays standing. It's in the featherweight division. Lord Silva, John Silva's minus 485. They're not giving Melsik Bagdasaryan a shot, a stretch of any imagination at plus 420 that he get this jump, but I think he's live on the feet, man. He is a super talented kickboxer. It's just about if John Silva does start incorporating maybe some clinch work and maybe some takedowns and throws off Melsik's game. So I do think John Silva's the right side. He's streaking right now. The training camp's too hot. The Fighting Nerds, I think they're on top of their programming, and the game plan they're going to have into this may incorporate the takedowns. But if it stays on the feet, John Silva is very entertaining. Melsik is as well. So let's see how entertaining the fight will be. But I'm going to incorporate John Silva straight up, being that if he does get some submissions going or some grappling going, maybe that's on the table. So I don't know which way to lean. I'm going to put him in a get-back parlay. John Silva straight up on the money line.
Yeah, Lord Silva. I got my glasses on for a reason. I mean, I love him. I saw him live in Denver. Guy was amazing. He's becoming a fan favorite here. I think this is going to be a great fight. He's on a 3-fight winning streak. Now I think he's taking on Malisik, who, underrated, I would say. Dangerous fighter. He has all the tools to make this a fun stand-up bang. But, I think Juan Silva, he has a knack for knocking out his opponents, but I think Malisik might actually be the better striker. So if he could avoid the KO shot from him, we might be in for a 3-round banger. I'm going to take the over 2.5 rounds here at plus 110. That's how I would be playing. I'm not going to touch his side. Right. Over 2.5 rounds at plus money.
Love it. Love hunting the plus money in that one. Yeah, you can see that hitting the judges' scorecards and being a split decision either way if it stays standing. So I think that's a really good fight and possibly could still fight of the night. So let's 100%. Go into the featured bout. It's 140 pounds because it's a catchweight. Rob Font accepting John Matsumoto. Both guys agreed to fight each other, and kudos to the two of them. But Rob Font here is going to be a dog. He's plus 135. John Matsumoto is minus 150. As I mentioned it before, it's a year to fade undefeated fighters, but not John Matsumoto. I think this dude is the complete package. You look at his resume, you look at the level of competition he's fought. He could finish. He can go to the judges' scorecard. He's got great cardio, great takedowns, great clinch work, strikes with the best of them. them. I mean, John Matsumoto at minus 150. I know it's Rob Font, but dude, I don't think we're going to see him this low, especially after this performance. Give me John Matsumoto.
This is such a Rob Font, you know. Originally, he was supposed to obviously take on Dominic Cruz. He winds up retiring, and then they offer him this fucking stud, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll take this fight."
Yeah.
Like that's such Rob Font, and you know, Matsumoto. He's won two of his fights since coming in, earning a contract on the Dana White Contender Series. Now comes in on stiff notice. Obviously, his best opponent yet to date. I was actually surprised at the number that he was this big of a favorite. I get it. He's 16-0. He's a talented prospect, but that's wild to me. You know, this is a huge step up in competition for a prospect on short notice. So, yeah, give me Rob Font plus 133. He's a well-rounded vet, and I'm getting plus 133. Not only has Rob Font fought the division's best, but he's shown he belongs among elite bantamweight fighters. You know, he just beat a great prospect in Kyler Phillips. If Font could keep this fight on the feet, he's going to win this fight, plain and simple. So, yeah, give me Rob Font plus 133.
I love it. I love that we're on opposite sides again, man. So let's go into the co-main event slot. And it's a rematch, almost 10 years in the making in the middleweight division. Brendan Allen, all in Allen is plus 285. Is he all in? We don't know. But he's taking on Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Anthony fucking Hernandez has been on an absolute steamroll at minus 315. He's my pick. Anthony Fluffy Hernandez is going to cap off my two-leg get-back parlay. That in John Silva gives you minus 170. Very chalky. But like I said, I need to get back.
Yeah, I'm going to take Anthony fucking Hernandez via decision at plus 115. You know, there might not be another UFC fighter flying under the radar like fucking Hernandez. You know, since his loss to Kevin Holland back in 2020, he's on a 6-fight win streak with 5 of those coming by finish. He has transformed himself in kind of like, I feel like the sleeper in that middleweight division. You know, he has that pace, he has the pressure, and he just crumbles the fighters as the fight goes on. You know, Allen, he's a good striker, but he truly obviously shines when the fight hits the mat, where he can kind of dictate the narrative of where it goes. He has good jiu-jitsu. If this was a 5-round fight, I guess my pick would be Hernandez to win inside the distance, but Hernandez pressure pays. I think it's just going to be too much for Brandon Allen to handle in 25 minutes. And, you know, Allen does tend to fade later in the rounds of a 5-rounder fight, which we did see. I do think he is tough enough to survive to get to the final bell. So 3 rounds, I think he can withstand it. So obviously, I think he's a great parlay piece, which is what you did. But at plus money, I got to take Anthony Hernandez here to win via decision at plus 115.
Yeah, we might get more of the same. When they fought, like I said, those 10 years prior, it was Anthony Hernandez all over Brendan Allen, dominating in the grappling exchanges. And I think Cruz to a decision. I don't think he finished him in there. So maybe wrong about that. If he finished him, I mean, that's even, you know, more emphasis that Anthony Hernandez can get this job done, because we've also seen a lot of improvement from him, not so much from Brendan Allen. You've seen that he's had, you know, taken advantage of the match makes that, you know, the UFC has given Brendan Allen. But man, Anthony Hernandez has been fed to the wolves and he's done nothing but succeed. So let's see him get this job done. And I'd say Anthony Hernandez could get the fight with Imavov if he wins. If Brendan Allen wins, very well could do the same, but I think there's less of a chance they do that. I think Anthony
He's just boring.
I think Anthony Hernandez with a win is the number 1 contender. And I think to eliminate with the weight class the way it's facing, Hamzat's getting the shot, but Imavov, you're not going to wait. You're going to have to fight Anthony fucking Hernandez. Wow. That's what I see. So in the bantamweight main event, we have Henry Triple C Cejudo, man, at plus 230, taking on Song Yadong at minus 250. You know, D-Rock, I'll hear your opinion on the matter. What do you got for the main event?
Captain Cringe, baby. Gotta love him. Song the favorite, rightfully so, but the odds are pretty high. He is coming off a loss. However, it makes sense given Cejudo's like lack of success returning from retirement. I know he's on a 2-fight loss, but he lost to a former champ. Barely, we were there, and then he lost to Merab, who is aging very well. So, you know, he is this. I think for Henry to win this fight, he has to establish his wrestling early in the fight and control Song Yadong for all 5 rounds on the mat to have a chance at winning. If he can't successfully do that, he's going to get picked apart on the feet, and it's going to be an ugly fight as it continues. So I think Song will be successful, get back on the win streak. I think he'll be able to stop the early takedowns and kind of outstrike his way to a victory. Too big of a favorite, but to lower at minus 137, I took Song Yadong on the money line plus fight to start round 3. I do think Cejudo is tough enough to withstand the first 2 rounds. You combine that in a 2-legger same game parlay, and you get a minus 137. I like that.
Yeah, I see this fight going to the judges' scorecards. I think either way you lean. But you look at Song Yadong in his past, he struggled against those who really incorporate the wrestling, which you're going to obviously see from Henry Cejudo. It's just a matter of Henry Cejudo keeping those dominant positions throughout the rounds. But, I mean, like I said, I see a decision fight here. It's probably going to go down as a split, whether the judges like the striking more of Song Yadong, who will have moments, or Cejudo, who will have his. Cody Stamann draw. Kyler Phillips wrestled him strong. He lost. Got cut by Corey Sandhagen, but he also grappled with Jacob Rodriguez at the Fight Pass Invitational and lost. Peter Yan incorporated some wrestling and takedowns to Song Yadong. Remember the trips? I think if Henry Cejudo capitalizes on his skillful wrestling, I think he's live at this dog spot. So I'll just take him straight up. Think submissions are completely off the table. Even though we wish Henry Cejudo with the wrestling could get that done, he's never got one in his career. It's more likely that it's going to the judges. I don't see a KO, TKO from either guy. Song Yadong having the advantage on the feet. Cejudo is hard to put away. I think he's very durable, even with the retirement. I mean, you think about it. His mind's been in the game, and he's been training nonstop, training other athletes, other fighters to championships. He has been doing. Triple C, the cringe king, is also a good coach. So I think he's going to have a good game plan coming into this. I think he can push the pace. So, yeah, could even go and take him via decision specifically to get that plus 230 up even higher. But you could just play him straight up on the money line. I think he's one of my lone dogs I have for the evening, and I think that'll cap off UFC Seattle.
Wow. I love it, Joe. Good luck. From Seattle, let's head over to the beautiful Saudi Arabia. The kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the last crescendo. Now, kid, this card has taken massive hits. Daniel Dubois had something's in the food or something's in the water. Daniel Dubois winded up getting sick. Schofield hospitalized. Now, Schofield's father came out on Twitter accusing Shakur's team of poisoning him. That's a little crazy if you ask me. But definitely not the card of the century anymore. If it was just a Schofield, I would definitely say, maybe, but these 2 big hits, losing Daniel Dubois, and shout out Martin Bato. How do you pronounce it?
Martin
Bacoli. Shout out him, not very high reward, but a lot of risk in this. It's not for the belt. The champion is the one who called out of the fight. So fighting Joseph Parker and losing after all that momentum might wind up killing it for him. So shout out him. He does have balls. I think real quick, Joe, Joseph Parker wins. He needs to fight Alexander Usyk. Daniel Dubois shouldn't be rewarded. But if Martin wins, he fights Daniel Dubois. He gets rewarded. Correct. I think that's fair.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
But we still get the main event, Dimitri Bivol versus Beterbiev. Regardless, real quick, before we give our picks, do you want to see a trilogy if Bivol does wind up tying it 1-1? Because how is it the last crescendo then?
You're 100% right. Yeah, I mean, that's when we talk about the names. We don't necessarily need to. But how are you going to number them, right? I mean, it'd be different. I guess it'd be like, Matchroom, whatever, or Queensberry. I don't know. So I guess they do have to use the names, Yeah. But it's a difficult pill to swallow going to a trilogy with this fight, especially if it goes to the judges again, and if it's controversial again. I think people want to see a finish. I think people wanted to see Beterbiev live up to his finishing capability. I mean, he was at 100% clip prior to the Dimitri Bivol fight the first time. And to be honest, I think that percentage is going down because either way you look at it, I think this is going to the judges again.
Or does Turki Al-Aishi have the fix-in already?
No, he's not fixing it.
No, I know. I was just saying based on the name.
No, yeah, that's the thing with Turki. I think he's legitimizing it more for boxers. So
100%.
It's something that was needed, a breath of fresh air.
All right, kid. Like I said, you guys could find this early start time fight card, prelim start at 11:45 here on the East Coast. Main card, I think, starts around 3. The two ring walks with Bivol and Beterbiev should get around 6:30ish, 6 o'clock, depending on how the card moves on. But you can find it card on DAZN, on live pay-per-view as well. But kid, I have a few picks, but I'll let you take it off since I know you have more.
Oh man, I they added 3 fights to the beginning of the card, but wasn't prepped to talk about them at all. But let's get started with Shakur Stevenson's fight. It's for his WBC World Lightweight title. Josh Padley is coming off his couch, man, coming off of his electrical job gig over there. He's plus 1,600. They're not giving him a shot in this one. Here's the thing about Shakur Stevenson. The power has been something to be found. We haven't seen it as of late. I think people are expecting him to get the finish here, but man, I'm not going to deny no blue-collar worker stopping off the couch. That thing's going to be tough as nails. He's not going to have an answer at all, and I think he's going to get blown away with the scorecards. So Shakur Stevenson winning via unanimous decision is at plus 220, and I think that's a very smart bet. I would capitalize on that now.
Yeah, I'm taking Shakur Stevenson via decision as well. I mean, getting it down from minus, I see a minus 4,500, like 4,500 is incredible. But to get it down to plus 200, I see plus 200 now, so you got a better number. But yeah, Shakur Stevenson, I know people are thinking he's going to knock him out.
That's the thing. You can't have split majority. Yeah, I went specific. He's going to win every single scorecard.
Yeah, and I just don't think he's going to knock him out, or because Shakur's not like that, and his hands are kind of fragile. That's why he only fights once or twice a year.
He'll break his hand.
He breaks his hand. So I just think he's going to outclass him. I mean, the guy coming off the couch, regardless of who was coming off the couch, Shakur was going to win this fight.
Yeah.
So, yeah, give me Shakur Stevenson via decision at plus 200.
Wow, plus 200 for it could be a majority or a split in his favor?
Yeah, just via decision. Yeah.
Wow, I had to hunt for that plus 220, and I had to go all the way to unanimous specifically to get it. So, yeah, if you can find plus 200 for a straight-up decision, it's way set for bet. Now we go to the interim WBO World Light Heavyweight title. Joshua Buatsi is minus 190, and he's taking on Callum Smith at plus 165. Callum Smith is very talented, but we've seen him, in tough spots before. We have not seen Buatsi in any bad positions. I mean, this dude is just a phenomenal fighter. And I like him at minus 190 here in this spot. I think it's because he's fighting a Callum Smith who's fought some very tough level competition, but I think it's that new era of boxing coming into play. So I'll take the minus 190 in the straight up money line for Buatsi. So the next fight is for the interim WBC World Superweight Welterweight title. It's Virgil Ortiz here at minus 125, taking on Israel Madrimov at plus 110. Madrimov's coming off the Terrence Bud Crawford loss. Looked to be completely outclassed there. I think Virgil Ortiz, the factor here that he didn't have so much, even though Terrence Bud Crawford finishes a ton of guys, I think Virgil Ortiz may have a little more power. Terrence Bud Crawford gets you in bad positions and finds shots past your guard and wears you out, tires you out. And he's got power, but I just think Virgil Ortiz has a little bit more. And if Madrimov isn't ready, I think Virgil Ortiz could capitalize. So whether it's knockdowns and accumulation to win the judges, or if he does get that TKO finish, I think Virgil Ortiz is the right side at minus 125. So again, another fight. Interim WBC World Heavyweight title. I think with all the titles on the line, that's why they hype this card up so much. But it's the interim WBC World Heavyweight title. Zhilei Zhang, the Big Bang, is plus 150. He's gonna bang you, no diddy, against Ajit Kabayel at minus 1. I mean, the interviews were absolutely hilarious. The dude is so funny, but I don't think people in the public are really looking at Ajit Kabayel as ferocious here in this spot, but I think he can get the job done. I think he can beat the Big Bang. He's minus 160 on the book, so I think someone in Vegas knows something. I think they underestimated Kabayel time and time again, and I think he's proven himself, and he's still undefeated. So if he gets a win over Zhilei Zhang, I think you can inject him into the conversation of, who's going to be heavyweight king, right? If you got an undefeated guy who's beaten now Zhilei Zhang, who was a former champ, and he has his way moving up. Yeah, I think you can't deny Ajit Kabayel to get a fight against Joseph Parker or a Martin Bacoli or Daniel Dubois or an Usyk even. But I think that Usyk fight is a couple fights away from everyone else in that division. So yeah, Ajit Kabayel minus 160. I'll go with him.
You'll start to
And
see
now-
a theme. Wait, real quick, I got to play
Yeah.
here. You'll start to see a theme. Brick City, first pick. Give me the other guy who trains out of New Jersey. Zelig Zag, baby. He's going to knock him the fuck out. Give me him. I was able to get a plus 143, but if you want to take him to win by KO TKO plus 225,
Wow.
hands of fucking
So you
steel.
are Yes Diddy.
Dang.
You are Yes Diddy.
Yes.
WBC World Middleweight title. Carlos Adames is plus 240, taking a Hamza Shiraz at minus 250. Let's get that minus 250 all the way to plus 250. Give me Shiraz via decision at plus 250. Carlos Adames is very good Dominican boxer, and I just think Hamza Shiraz is the truth upcoming. Undefeated guy. You know, I think he's going to outclass him. I think he's going to look really good in this fight. So give me Hamza Shiraz via decision at plus 250. The co-main event slot is still for the IBF World Heavyweight title. Am I wrong? They still keep that title on the line for it, or is it no longer?
No,
since
since
Dubois is
Daniel
out?
Dubois. Yeah.
Okay, so Dubois championship status. He gets to keep his belt even though he's not fighting. How about that? Tell me about it. Joseph Parker is minus 155, taking a Martin Bakole at plus 145. And yeah, you know, Dylan said Joseph Parker. Martin Bakole. If you don't know, now you know. This dude's going to knock Joseph Parker clean out, and he's going to go for the title. So give me Martin Bakole at plus 145 here in the co-main event slot.
Oh, there's no way he does that. I was gonna take Joseph Parker to beat Daniel Dubois. We've seen the best of Joseph Parker here recently, and I just think Martin Bakole, yeah, all the momentum is gonna go. He's gonna just blow up. Joseph Parker's gonna knock him out. Yeah, give me Joseph Parker here.
Hey man, but the best man win when we get there, because we got two fights we're going head to head against, and may the best man win, like I said. And so, yeah, the main event is the undisputed light heavyweight title of the world. They have every single belt in that weight class. Artur Beterbiev beating Dimitri Bivol unified it. He's minus 120 going into the rematch. Dimitri Bivol is plus 110. I'm going for a trilogy, even though it may be lackluster. Like I said, if we go to the judges again, which we most likely will, and Dimitri Bivol wins, we're going to get a third fight. So get ready for the second to last crescendo, with Dimitri Bivol winning via decision at plus 150.
Yeah, I thought the first fight was kind of a toss-up. This fight is extremely even, I think. It's extremely close. The odds dictate that. You know, I thought Bivol did enough. I thought, like, significantly, I thought he did enough to get the first one. But as good as Beterbiev is, Bivol is the man, I believe, who is better than him or has the best chance to make a significant adjustments from the first fight for this second fight. Beterbiev, you know, underrated technician. He wants to come forward. He lands those heavy punches, but I think Dimitri Bivol is a bit more flexible in his game, and in such a close fight, I'm going to lead towards more arguably the deserving guy who I thought won the first fight to likely make the adjustments here in this rematch. So I'm going to take the dog here. I'm going to take Dimitri Bivol at plus 110. I see plus 108, so shop around. But, yeah, give me Bivol here. And as much as I don't want to see the trilogy, I do think we see the trilogy.
And may love never find me like Dimitri Bivol's ex-wife. I mean, she's the spawn of Satan.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a hell of a card. Good luck. We're going.
I want him to win just
a lot.
despite her. That's why I just wanted to win.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you turn the kids against their father? I mean, disgusting.
I mean, we see it every day in society nowadays.
Terrible.
Did you see, real quick, before we get to the news, you saw that one girl divorcing her husband for booing Taylor Swift at the Super Bowl? I was like, that can't be real.
I told you all about it. It's real. It's real.
It's real.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. Kid, let's get, before we end it, Octagon 67, we have a bunch of news.
Yes. Wow.
UFC London, we'll start there. I'm going to go chronologically. I'm going to go from March to April to May and so on. But breaking news, we do have a new main event. JDM is out of his fight against Leon Edwards. He will now take on Philly's own Sean Brady in a 5-round welterweight main event to headline UFC London. You'll find out why, because JDM does get the title fight against Bilal Muhammad in Montreal. Real quick before, we called that. Before I ask you what you think of this, are you surprised they didn't run the rematch back between Leon, or does it make more sense that they need him in London?
Yeah, they need him in London, to sell the card. And yeah, it would have
And
been
he
hard,
didn't deserve the rematch. Let's be honest.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. So I think it worked out the way they did. The UFC had to pull some strings a little bit, and they got the job done. I mean, Sean Brady stepping into Leon Edwards.
Love that fight.
I like Sean Brady. I think the grappling advantage. Yeah, I think he's going to get Leon to the ground somehow.
Do you think this is stylistically a better matchup for Sean Brady, or do you think this is a good bounce back for Leon Rocky Edwards?
Well, Sean, who is he scheduled to fight? Was he scheduled with anybody, Sean Brady?
No, he wasn't. But we love this fight.
Yeah, so I do think it favors him because Leon, I don't think has many answers off his back.
What do you think the odds are?
I think Leon would be a slight favorite, like -150.
Sean Brady -147. Leon Edwards +127.
I think you got to hit Sean now. They're trying to keep the odds that way so they can swing something into Leon's favor. But what we're seeing this new era of mixed martial arts come into play. We're seeing the new era come into all facets of sports, and it's also happening in combat sports.
Yeah, I love this for Sean Brady. I think it's a good spot for him stylistically as well. UFC 314 in Miami, man. They keep throwing bangers down in Miami, but this card is fucking stacked. For the vacant featherweight title, Ilia Topuria has vacated his title. Well, technically, he's still the champion until the first bell rings, but which I don't mind.
I had the Ilia lightweight title future. Yeah. I told you.
I mean, real quick before we talk about this,
I'm just gonna get to the window with it.
If he goes and fights Islam, which a lot of people are speculating that he's going to fight Dustin Poirier or Arman, you're fucking out of your mind. He's not moving up to fight a number one contender. He's moving up to fight Islam.
Yeah.
The UFC is going to give him that. Are you surprised that he said that he's done everything at the featherweight when you and I have both agreed that there is still fights at featherweight for him?
I mean, he could say that, but yeah, I mean, there definitely are fights at featherweight, but it's a tough, tricky situation. I mean, he's one of the best in the world, he's saying that his body isn't cooperating with the 145-pound cut anymore. He has a rivalry to Paddy, so even if he loses the title shot, I think that's the matchup that you do next, because that's a fight I bet you're going to announce as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot for him at lightweight. It's just, it's unfortunate that even though he had work still to be done to become the greatest featherweight of all time, he's no longer able to do it. So
if you're Ilia Topuria, what do you say to the people that said, well, you just made 145 7-8 months ago?
You just can't do it no more. It's just a fact, like you think Conor will still be able to make 145. There's no way in hell. So I think it's a certain point that your body just can't make that cut. So
I agree.
You've seen really behind the scenes struggle. The fact that he made it all the time was nothing short of a miracle without him having weight issues.
And I would say he made it because he had to make it. He had to go make it to win the belt against Volk, and he had a huge fight against arguably one of the best featherweights ever in Max Holloway. He needed to make the weight.
Everyone was talking about Max's cut, but yeah, think about Ilia's cut as well.
If Ilia Topuria goes out there and knocks out Islam, is that the greatest 3-fight win streak in UFC history?
Yeah, I think so. That's pretty crazy.
Right?
Max, and then damn Islam. Wow, that'd be pretty crazy.
That's insane. But with the vacant, I'm happy. I'm happy all around. I'm happy for Diego Lopez getting a shot. I'm happy for Volkanovski still getting a title shot as well. That is the main event. UFC 314, 5 rounds, main event. Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopez. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, fantastic fight. Yeah, I think it's going to be a stand-up battle. I don't think that Lopez may initiate too much grappling, but I do think that may be his path to victory in a sense. But we have seen Volk survive even the likes of T-City, where he had the deepest of submissions on him. So I do worry about maybe the trauma, taking 2 bad knockout losses. But, he's had all the time to rest. Maybe the brain is recouped for Volk. I think it's an entertaining fight. I love that fight so much. I didn't expect it to be for a title, though. I did expect the fight to happen.
Can you guess the line? Who do you think is the favorite?
I'll be real. I think Diego Lopez is a favorite. Like, I would go back to the -150 favorite.
Alexander
Diego Lopez.
Volkanovski minus 164. Diego Lopez plus 144.
So I've been opposite on both.
On both.
Hey.
I'll say this: you do not have a career in setting odds. But you're right. I mean, I think the fight. Yes, this is a good main event, but I love the fight between Paddy Pimblett and Michael Chandler, co-main event. For just, I think this is a great litmus test for Paddy Pimblett, and you know the UFC moves at a very fast pace. If you're Michael Chandler, I know you're fighting for the title and you're fighting the top of the top, but now you get Paddy Pimblett, who, you know, I think this is a good test for him. He wanted his shot at a high level guy. You're gonna get it in Michael Chandler. I love this fight for Paddy Pimblett. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I was saying, you know, Mike Chandler, he works very hard. It could be a huge disparity in terms of like kind of camps we're getting. Michael Chandler, like, you know, is always locked into a camp, it seems, and Paddy Pimblett gains 50 pounds, you know, outside of his. So, but Paddy Pimblett is so talented, is that the trajectory that they played out for him is to the title, you know, and he wants, I do think he wants that Ilya fight. So here's the thing, I'm breaking it down in my head that Paddy gets past Chandler, Ilya loses to Islam, and we get Ilya versus Paddy Pimblett in 2026.
I like it. What do you think the odds are for this co-main event, Paddy Chandler?
Paddy Pimblett minus 200.
Oh, at least you got it right. Paddy Pimblett minus 140, Michael Chandler plus 120. A lot of value on Paddy Pimblett.
Yeah. Minus 140, not too bad. If he was minus 200, you still might have made a bet.
The future bout. Welcome to the UFC. Patricio Pitbull will take on Yair Rodriguez. Love this fucking fight, kid. I absolutely love this. I mean, welcome to the UFC, Patricio Pitbull. And I will say, you go out there and finish a guy like Yair Rodriguez, you're next for a shot at the belt.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll do, as crazy as that sounds. But yeah, Yair Rodriguez may start Patricio Pitbull.
Yair Rodriguez minus 163, Patricio Pitbull plus 143. Do you agree with that?
I do. Yeah. We're skeptical on the level of competition that Bellator had to offer, even though we say he's the greatest Bellator fighter of all time. Yeah, you know, all it takes is one time in the UFC to completely erase all that, like we see with the likes of Michael Chandler. So same can be done to Patricio Pitbull.
But yeah, the whole card, I mean, every year in and year out, they just keep throwing bangers for Miami. You got Jeff Neal taking on Carlos Prates. I mean, I'm going to be fucking smoking darts with that fight. I mean, are you kidding me? We got Sean Woodson, the featured the main event of the prelims, taking on Dan 50K. You got Nikila Krylov and Dominic Reyes. You got Jim Miller and Chase Hooper. What a fucking card, kid. I love
they put together a good card. Yep.
And then real quick, before we get to UFC 315, like I said, I am going chronological order. April 26th, UFC Kansas City, we have a retirement fight for Anthony Smith against Ming Yang Zhang. You like this fight for Anthony Hernandez?
Do not like this fight for Anthony Smith. No.
Why are you laughing like that?
No, what's his name? The Mountain Tiger? My boy's gonna his bricks off, bro. I'm swearing.
Oh no.
Yang Zhang, yeah, he's a dangerous striker.
We don't want that though.
He's got to be hunting for an ankle pick. Anthony Smith, staying away from the feet 100%. Dude.
Well, I'm glad he's getting his home. I'm glad he's getting a retirement fight in his home city in Kansas City. So shout out Anthony Smith. Des Moines, Iowa. I think that's the biggest surprise. Not the main event, but May 3rd, Des Moines, Iowa is getting a fight night. 5-round main event, bantamweight, headlined by Davison Figueiredo taking on the Sandman, Corey Sandhagen.
Wow, I love that fight. Good for Iowa.
Who the fuck lives there?
Seth Rollins.
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah, he actually does. But, I mean, I think that's the bigger news, that Des Moines, Iowa. Shout out Des Moines, Iowa. I mean, I know they have the big festival, but what the fuck is there to do in Des Moines, Iowa?
Play football. Be a tight end. Wrestle.
What do you think about the fight, though? Figgy and Corey Sandhagen.
I love it. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic fight. And to be honest, man, I don't think if Corey can handle with the power at times, I feel like Figgy could be live with a knockout, but it may get some grappling exchanges too. So I think it'll be a great fight.
Yeah, I do too. Maybe number one contender fight, or
Right.
title eliminator. And we also welcome back. Misha Tate is fighting in Des Moines, Iowa as well. She will be taking on Yana Santos. You like that fight for Misha?
Hey, legacy fight.
Yeah. I mean, shout out Misha Tate. She's still doing it, man.
Yep.
May 10th now. We are at UFC 15 in Montreal at the Bell Center. We get a welterweight title fight. Bilal Muhammad will defend his welterweight title against JDM. 5-round main event in the welterweight. Shavkat, they did offer him. He is injured. He said he will be ready to return August or September. You got to feel for Shavkat real quick because, all the momentum, I think, is kind of dying with him. But
Yeah, Ian Gary took his aura.
Yeah, did you see the video?
Made Shavkat a cuck.
Yeah, wow. Did you see the video that Ian Gary posted?
Yeah, he put that voodoo on him, bro. Like I said, Shavkat's a cuck now. No, I'm playing. What was the video? I didn't see the video.
No, the video was just the leg kicks in the fight, and that's the reason he's hurt. But I love this fight for Bilal.
Bilal's going to win this fight.
Oh, he's going to dominate. I mean, he's a minus 205 favorite. I mean, stylistically.
Take it now. He should be minus 400.
Yeah, JDM, love the guy, but I think stylistically this is an awful fight. Are you surprised they went with JDM for this?
I think they were scrambling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think JDM got the call, took it first, and that's what happened. And I just say that he's got great boxing, but I think Bilal has maybe better. And the wrestling is just going to be night and day. We don't know how good the cardio is going to be for Jay. We saw him struggle against Basil Hafez in the 3rd round. Imagine the 4th and 5th with Bilal. Yeah, Bilal Muhammad's the right side.
I just refreshed the odds. You were right. Minus 240 now for Bilal Muhammad. So money's coming in. But we were right. Remember last week I said, hey, co-main event is going to be the women. We have Valentina Shevchenko taking on Manel Fiorot. I know a lot of people want
France 2 in Montreal.
Yeah, exactly. And Bilal's going to get so much love there with the Muslim population as well. But, I was saying, I think last week or maybe in 2 weeks, I was saying that, I know a lot of people wanted Zhang Wei Li to get the super fight with Valentina, but you couldn't skip Manel Fiorot right now. She deserved a long time coming. She deserved this 5-round co-main event in the flyweight division.
What's the odds? I think she's a dog, and I'd take her. If she's a dog, I'm taking her.
Manel Fiorot, minus 125. Valentina, underdog at plus 105.
I think Manel Fiorot was the right side, man. I think she's
really
too powerful. I think Valentina, I think this is it. I think this is the passing of the guard.
I love it. I mean, we also got a few other fights announced for Montreal. We got Alexa Grasso taking on Natalie Silva, Marc-Andre Barriault taking on Bruno Silva, and Gilbert Burns was slated for 313 or 314 in Miami. They moved him and Michael Morales to 315 as well. What do you think, Alexa Grasso or Natalie Silva favorite?
Favorite? I do like Natalie Silva. Do I think the odds makers are going to give her the favorite?
Of course they are. Give me Silva minus 200 plus 170 for Grasso.
Oh my God, I like it. Yeah, I think she's too explosive. Like Alexa Grasso winning the title, I think Natalia Silva has a better chance of being a champion. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like more explosive athlete, more technique. I think unless the grit and the heart is something that Alexa Grasso possesses that other women fighters don't. That's the only difference I see in that fight.
Now, I like Gilbert Burns. I think he's a good fighter, but Michael Morales, minus 400. Take it now.
Take it now and take it via KO TKO.
But, kid, that's it. A lot of news. Still trying to comprehend it 72 hours after, but we're locked and loaded. I am glad that we are filling out the card. And I like how it went on Instagram Live this time. A little different from Dana White.
But, that was funny, even with the reverse camera angle.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. We were all scrambling for that. But, kid, Octagon 67 afternoon tomorrow, 12 p.m. in the Czech Republic. What do you got?
Yeah, interesting spot, man. I guess the Czech fans need some fights. For the flyweight championship there, Sam Urai Creasy, minus 190, taking on Beno Adamia at plus 140. It's a get back week for me with the parlay and with 10 seconds left. Give me the defending champ, Sam Urai, minus 190.
Let's fucking go. Let's get back on track, kid. Good luck in the Czech Republic. I would say good luck in our picks, but we are going head to head on a lot of these.
A lot of picks.
May the best man.
win.
Exactly.
And keep an eye out for Junto Nakatani fighting on Monday morning. It's on ESPN Plus, y'all.
Top 10 pound for pound fighter in the world, maybe.
Top of the morning.
Any last words before we get up out of here? Loaded weekend.
That was it. Check that Junto Nakatani out. See if he's a legit top 10 fighter. Because David Cuellar, I think he's a really good Mexican fighter.
Kid, good luck. God bless. Next week. Peace.